Right, everybody, we're going to come back to order. We've had some lengthy discussion. Sorry it took a little bit longer than 5 minutes, but as you know, this is what democracy looks like in the people's business. I think where we are now, and I'm going to let our two co-chairs talk about it, but we are, I believe, about to, I'm going to ask for a vote on these items as it stands. There are 8 different items that I think folk have agreed with our planning department that are problematic and can be pulled out, but it's almost impossible to do that at 11 o'clock. We can attempt that without some discussions. The city planning is saying with those items even pulled out, they need an opportunity to be able to make sure that they're pulling all of the relevant pieces that go with that item. For instance, buffers, you have to pull all of that out, and there are some other categories that may overlap. So we can have discussions. I'll let the two co-chairs speak first, and then we'll call for a vote.
So I would just let staff know directly the 8 areas of concerns that were raised, or the 8 areas that were under discussion at the task force were the Affordable Housing Path Program, the geometries and buffers, the small lots and flag lots, the accessory dwelling unit ADUs, parking, neighborhood commercial zones, townhomes, and nonconformities.
Could you repeat those one more time, a little bit slower so we can type?
The affordable path, I can share it by email as well. I'm not gonna try to make you type it, write it all down. But I think those 8 areas, outside of what you've already stated, could move forward. I think we could have, at this late hour, if we could go back to the drawing board and just come up with an ordinance that addresses the ones that you wanted to move forward without the items that were of concern for the task force. I think we can move that forward, but tonight, I don't think it is possible, so.
Councilman Williams.
It took a while. We are still in deliberation about this. There are, I believe where we are right now is staff made recommendations. Even some of those recommendations, we do take some issue with some folks. The reason why I ask for each council member to, if you have a concern, pull it out so we can actually discuss those. We have not come to a consensus on it, but staff is open to sort of taking what issues there are that we have and then, making a recommendation on those. This is reflective of some of the topics that came up in the actual task force. Where I stand on it is I think that we do need to take some action tonight. The public hearing has been closed, so we have to. If not, we have to open it back up and then continue it with giving staff time to bring back a version of the amendment in an expedited fashion. Or, we could vote it up or down as is tonight, which has its own issues. Once we vote it down, it's gone. We will have to ask staff to bring something back. If we vote it up as is, then we take all the issues that come with that, which is why everyone is in this room tonight. I'd love for us to be able to pull those items out that there's issue with here on the council, and we pass whatever else is left that staff recommended, which is the majority of the document. We have not come to a consensus of where we are on that. So,
Councilwoman Johnson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I think that there is a way to move forward with a significant piece of this document because we do have a really comprehensive and well thought out staff recommendation. There is one thing I want to clarify about that recommendation though with staff. about the question that I asked earlier, which was whether y'all intended for all of the items that you recommend evaluating as part of the UDO rewrite to be deferred. One of the folks who's been working on SCAD told me that that was not their impression from previous meetings and conversations, that what they thought that language meant was that we should move forward with it and evaluate it, that we should pass it now and evaluate it later. You said we should wait to pass it. So I just wanted to clarify because they felt like that was new information.
Yeah, Bo Dobrinsky Planning. The language where we're recommending, a lot of the examples, I think there's 5 or 6 instances where we use that language. And I'll just use an example, ADUs for places of worship, right? That's something that we're pretty sure and pretty confident that moving forward, we would be in favor of a version of that. And when it talks about site plan exemptions, that's process related. And so I think we're recommending that idea and we're fine with moving forward with it, but we recognize that we would take a look at it as a part of the UDO rewrite.
Okay, but you would.
Which is the latter thing you said.
Right, but is your recommendation that we move it forward tonight or that we don't move it forward tonight?
Yes, it is.
Sorry, which one?
To move it forward.
To move it forward tonight?
Yes.
Okay.
Just to clarify.
Okay. Oh my God, we're never getting out of here. To clarify, you are recommending that, for example, in under topic 1, site plan exemptions, the affected UDO paragraph 3.7.2b, where it says, staff recommend evaluating the effectiveness and impacts of this change as part of the UDO rewrite. That is a recommendation to pass that provision as part of this package.
That's correct.
Okay. Sarah's coming up behind you.
So Sarah Young with the Planning Department. I think we need to carefully read how these are written. So for instance, that one, it was, which one was it? It was this one, right?
Yeah, the first one I saw with that language.
Yeah. There's some of these that says staff recommends the change. However, we also recommend to reevaluate it. There are some where it says, it doesn't necessarily say at the very beginning, we blanket recommend. So I think that's kind of the subtle distinction.
Okay.
That if it doesn't say we blanket kind of recommend, but we recommend that if this were to be passed, it is something that we would revisit absolutely. And I'm sorry if that's kind of cryptic. This was quite a challenge to put into words what our concerns might be, but if you have specific questions on any of them, I'm happy to clarify further.
Okay. Yes, thank you. Let me look up some more specific questions. Okay, for example, one of the provisions in SCAD would allow residential development in the IL district. And y'all say that you recommend evaluating the effectiveness and impact of allowing residential on small IL lots as part of the UDO rewrite. That is not a recommendation that we pass it tonight.
Correct.
Gotcha. So if you preface that with we recommend this change, then it's do it now.
Right. So we tried to be clear the things that we were recommending. It'll start very clearly with staff recommends this change or this clarification.
Okay. Great. Thank you. That is super helpful. I think where I am on this now is in line with where the Mayor Pro Tem was earlier in the evening, which is to pass the changes that are recommended by our staff tonight with I believe, the exception of the affordable path. I think we should pull that out. I think it needs more work. And there are a couple of things in there that the staff recommend, but I believe that whole piece needs more analysis, and so that's all of that's all of topic 6, if folks are looking at attachment M, which is the staff analysis. Everything else that's recommended by staff, I'm in support of moving forward with tonight, and pushing the path as well as the additional items that aren't recommended for approval by staff at this time for future consideration with the UDO rewrite. I've been advised by our attorney that that is possible as long as the motion is made in a way that makes it very clear which pieces of the proposal we are accepting and which we are deferring. And I think the conversation just now with staff clarified which pieces they are recommending that we move forward with now and which pieces they are recommending that we wait to evaluate as part of the UDO. So that is what I would support. That's what I think would be the best path moving forward. Thank you.
Councilwoman Caballero.
Thank you. That's fine. I think we're just going to have to literally go one by one, which is going to be really long, because embedded in each section, so if I'm looking at the staff, which I agree with what you're saying, right? I think everyone on this dais understands that there's components that none of us feel comfortable passing tonight, and then there's components that I know I feel comfortable passing. You know, the entire section on row houses, that there's nothing controversial in there. So topic 2, everything under there, creation of new detached row house housing type, I haven't heard a single person complain about it. I don't understand how it would be controversial. I don't understand how we wouldn't pass that tonight. But does that mean we're going to have to go, I make a motion to pass 4.6, 5D.2, and we're going to have to go through each one? Because there's no way we're going to be able to even in the section by topic, there's ones where it's like, yes, staff recommends, but then maybe one right underneath that says, no, basically, no, we don't recommend.
What I was told by our attorney is no, we do not have to go item by item. We can say, for example, I move to pass all of the items in the SCAD proposal that are recommended by the planning staff, and that would be an acceptable motion, and we could vote on that. Don can correct me if I'm wrong.
And I think the one thing I would add to that, just looking at the language in the staff analysis and recommendation, is I would think that the motion needs to say something like, that column needs to include the language, the specific language, staff recommend this change. Sarah, would you agree with that that's what planning is recommending?
Yes.
Okay. So if that item doesn't include that language in the staff analysis and recommendation, theoretically, you could have a motion that says that column needs to include the language, staff recommend this change.
I have a further clarifying question then. So on page 9 of the staff analysis, where it talks about, it's 5.42B, 1B1. It's the staff analysis and recommendation is places of worship may have excess property that is underutilized and could be developed to meet a variety of small-scale housing needs in conjunction with the place of worship operations. Staff recommend evaluating the effectiveness and impacts of this change as part of the UDO rewrite. So in this case, that would be a no. We're not moving that forward. Right. And then if, as a council member, that's a piece that I do want to move forward. So are we going to take everything, we're going to have to sit here and look at whatever is not recommended and decide, or are we just tabling all of that?
I guess what I would say, it depends on what council wants to do. You know, I think Councilmember Johnson made a recommendation. It sounds like you've got a different suggestion.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was, I guess my hope and expectation was that we were going to actually dig into the nitty gritty. And there are some things that staff is, which I totally understand. But I know I stood in front of Durham Can and said we were going to allow ADUs in houses of worship, and that's an honor I plan on keeping, as you know. And I think that that's something that I have heard not a lot of controversy around, right? Which I completely understand from staff's perspective why you would want to reevaluate it with the UDO. But I also think that that's a piece that there has been a lot of engagement around, and a lot of the community is actually for it. And so I would not want to, on this evening, say no to that. Regardless of what public comment was tonight, this has been a 2-year process. I have consistently heard from community that that is something that they want.
Councilman Williams?
Yeah,
Councilwoman Freeman?
Again, I think that we can take the staff recommendations with the exception of the ones that staff did not recommend and the ones that we on council want to discuss more, and move those out of the way. And that will cut down. But again, I'm going to say what nobody wants to say. It's going to be a long night because that's what we came here to do tonight.
Councilman Williams? I'm sorry, Councilwoman Freeman?
Thank you. I would just share that in the conversation I just made the point that this is the frame that we're looking at this in because of an applicant. It doesn't mean that we can't take any of these items forward through staff. Like, that's not what happens. If we vote this down, there still could be items that move forward. It just gives staff an actual chance to put it in the language and in an ordinance that we can actually pass. So it's not like it's all or nothing. I just think that this format is not working, and it's making it hard for the community even, and us, to move forward. And so why not just get rid of it and then figure out which pieces you want to see and let staff know?
All right. All right, Mayor Pro Tem followed by Councilman Williams, and I'm not going to hold to what I said in that I'm going to call for a vote. And you can vote it up or down, and we can move on unless someone offers a motion to amend that, and then you have that wording for that. You also have the right to put a substitute motion, but I do think that we need to move this along and get to a vote where we're actually going ahead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just want to associate myself with Councilmember Johnson and Councilmember Williams' statement. I know what I want to do. I know what I want. I want to go with what the staff has recommended. This was similar to what we did with expanding housing choices. We said we voted on it, and we reserved the prerogative to look at it and measure its impact. I'm under no illusion that we're the Durham City Council. We're the final arbiter of business in the city. We can go back and undo what we've done. That is within our purview. But I want to, Madam Mayor, with the recommendation that I made earlier, and I think Councilmember Johnson and Councilmember Williams have indicated as well, whatever counselor, however the motion needs to be crafted in an exclusionary way to do what we want to do as a council and punt on those other things, whatever that language is, I recommend that we have that language presented to us and let that be the basis of a motion. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Councilwoman Freeman?
I appreciate Mayor Pro Tem's comment. I think what we heard from staff is they needed time to come up with that, and that's why we were trying to give them some time to come up with that. And so I just want to make sure you're aware that that was why we just suggested to just vote it up or down and then move forward so that they can actually come up with language that would work. So just not in the moment tonight. And the lawyers.
Councilwoman Jose.
The lawyers said wait.
Yeah, and I also think that there's some things, like, I think some of us are saying there's things in it that we like, things that we don't like. Well, you know, this is really development because I'm not going to be here, but for the rest of you, I think it's just a little too fast to kind of just, I'm still confused on what you're going to keep in, what you're not going to keep in, stuff like that. And I think actually the residents are too. So I think it needs to move from a yes or no and keep it moving, to be quite honest. Because I know, like you said, there were some things that I know we all agreed about in front of Ken that we wanted in, right? So how do I know that that's really going to be, you know what I mean? That's why I'm confused. Like, I'm not confused, but what I'm saying is there are things in it. This, to me, this process right here, to me, is just not working well. It isn't. Because you can say that things are going to be in it, and you take out stuff like, how do we know it's going to be worded the way we want it to be worded? How do we know we're going to be taking out things that y'all like, you don't like? To me, it should be an up or down, yes or no, and move on.
Final comment, Ms.
Yeah, that's why we're here tonight, to do just that, to make a decision, to do our job after we've done our homework and actually take action. I would be amenable to going with staff recommendations and honoring my colleagues' concerns that we agree that we want to discuss, and then give staff time to address those in expedited fashion. Meaning, give you all a little more time, staff, bring those back with your recommendations. But I'm not, let me just explicitly say, I'm not in favor of not doing anything tonight.
So.
And I'll make an amendment or a second supplemental.
So before we,
Your motion.
let's get it right procedurally from the attorney's standpoint of view. I've closed the public hearing. There has been a suggestion that I can reopen the public hearing in order for the staff to be able to get you that list of recommendations on what stays in and what stays out, and they can bring it back tomorrow or at a date certain for you to vote on that. Or you can vote it up or down as it is tonight, since we've closed the public hearing, and offer your substitute motion to pass whatever it is you all have decided you're going to pass. So what's your pleasure?
That's for motion.
All right.
Madam
We have a
Mayor,
motion.
if council's going to, because, I mean, the motion that's presented before us, it's just a suggestion. We don't have to even entertain that motion if there's another motion. I'd like to hear what the work product is of the counselor as to the earlier request. The council's not bound by the motion right now that's being recommended.
So as I indicated earlier, procedurally, this is what we have on our agenda that we were going to deal with. I will entertain a motion. If it's not, you can offer a substitute motion and move forward with that. That's all I'm saying. You get to the same point. But I'm just going to call for this motion, and then someone may offer a substitute motion. Councilwoman Johnson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So did you say that you would call for a motion unless someone else wanted to offer a motion, or do you want to call it and then have a substitute offer? I can go ahead and
Turn to the
offer.
attorney. Let's see what Attorney O'Toole says we should do. Since we have this motion for our consideration, what's the easiest way for them to offer?
I think a council member can make the motion of their choice. And then if people want to make alterations in that can be considered. But,
What happens to the one that's before us on the agenda?
well,
Goes away?
it hasn't been moved, so.
Right.
Right.
So I don't need
if
to call
someone
for one.
wanted to take motion one and revise it slightly, that could be the motion on the floor or at the table, either place.
Okay. I'm ready for a motion, Madam Mayor.
Follow-up question, what happens to
question.
motion 2 and 3?
It's on.
I'm sorry. What 2?
It's only one or two.
Yeah,
Only two.
motion 2 is just
All
the
right, so-
consistency statement.
All right.
Madam Mayor,
So,
does council have a response to my query about the wording?
yeah, I think Councilwoman Johnson is about to give you all something that you all will be satisfied with tonight.
Okay, so I move that we approve the provisions in the SCAD proposal which align with the staff's recommendations to be moved forward this evening and that would accept the following provisions from tonight's approval. Under topic number 3, permitted uses, the changes to UDO paragraph 6.10.2a.1. Under topic 4, the changes to UDO paragraph 4.6.6c.1 and 5.4.2b.2.a. Under topic 6, all of topic 6. Under topic 7, and I'm sorry, topic 6 is, I'm proposing that we remove topic 6 from this passage regardless of staff's recommendation. Under topic 7, UDO paragraph 6.8.2a.2a, 6.8.3, and 6.8.4. Slow down, I'm sorry. I'll wait there. There's more. Under topic 8, this would remove 6.10.1c.1 and 6.10.1d.1, as well as 6.10.2b.2. Under topic 10, This would remove 6.12.2b, 6.12.3b.11. Under topic 11, this would remove 6.12.5e. And under topic 13, this would remove 6.10.1c.1.f and 6.10.1d.1.f. Those are the items that the staff is not recommending that we implement tonight, but are proposing to be evaluated as part of the UDO right, with the exception of the path proposal, which I'm also recommending that we pull from a vote this evening. So my motion is to pass the SCAD proposal with those exceptions as delineated by staff, as well as accepting the affordable path proposal.
Is there a second?
Second.
That was a great motion off the top of your head. That was really good. All right, there's been a motion by Councilwoman Johnson. It's been seconded by Mayor Pro Tem. All those in favor of that motion?
Madam Mayor, I have a discussion, please, on the motion. Staff, did you get that?
We are fortunate that this meeting is recorded, so we will go back and make sure that we get each and every one of those explicitly.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, any further discussion?
Make a friendly amendment to that.
And just for the record, just noting that there were a number of those items that did come up at the task force that need to be addressed specifically. And I'm not sure where that's going to happen or how that's going to happen, but I do think it's a disservice to our community to move forward tonight with that motion. Thank you.
You're friendly, I think there's a friendly amendment and then there's a further discussion.
And now I'm thinking, I'm confused. I don't know whether it will be a friendly amendment or not, but I just want to make sure we can still address those issues that we had a concern. I guess we can do that later and then bring back. But staff, I think you need direction on that, or should we just pass this motion and then request us?
Like nothing else, it doesn't eliminate any other provisions from future consideration. It just
Okay.
passes the ones that are, yeah.
All right.
You know, I think it is a disservice to the community for what, because all of that is mumbly jumbly to the community. This is ridiculous. Read, regardless to that. I mean, just the way this is being done.
We have order,
is
please, Madam
ridiculous.
Mayor.
All right, there has been a motion by Councilwoman Johnson. I believe that motion was seconded by Mayor Pro Tem. All those in favor of all the stuff she said, if you would sign by, we're not going to use our clickers because they have a, would you raise your left hand? All those in favor? We have Councilwoman Johnson, Councilwoman Johnson, Councilman Williams, Councilwoman Caballero, and Mayor Pro Tem. All those opposed have the same right. That would be me, Councilwoman Freeman, Councilwoman Jose Hammond. That motion passes as we knew it would, for 4-3. The next motion for our consideration is to adopt the appropriate consistency statement as required per NCGS 160D-605.
So move.
Second.
Been moved by Councilman Williams, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem. All those in favor, if you will raise your left hand for the consistency statement. Okay, that is Council 4-3 again, same 4-3. Councilman Williams, Councilwoman Johnson, just to say it on the record, Councilwoman Caballero, and Mayor Pro Tem. Your 4-3 has it again. I'm so glad I'm leaving y'all tonight. In my final meeting. There's nothing else to come before us. It is 11:45 on 11:20. Irregardless of whoever's in control, the Bull City is always going to be strong. Thank you, my people.
Thank you, ma'am.